Yeah, no, that's great. No, I've seen many of you, most all of your videos so far, and no, just not just the content, but the production quality. You can kind of see the passion behind the work. That's very obvious. This is something that you want to do. There
Hmm.
is always a message that you want to convey, and it's always thought provoking. So that's the best part, that everybody who's watching those videos, while they're going through it, they're all, it's obvious your work, you're passionate towards it, and you have some thought provoking ideas. So yeah, on those lines, I also saw your last video on love and unconditional love. So is that something, you think unconditional love is achievable, and do you think you can do it?
Yes, I do. I
You think
think
so?
the problem is when we fail to understand the idea of what love is. For example, um, when, say, your parents, your mother, if do you think the way you look at her and the way you feel for her, the pure love that you have for her, would have been a little different if she wouldn't have been as well off, or she wasn't in a situation where she could have done as much as she did for you, financially, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Would that make any difference
No.
in pure, in
Yeah.
just love?
Yeah. No, it wouldn't.
So
And
that is the only point I'm trying to make.
and
uh
and
and
and, and that's completely fair. And I think and that's what I wanted to kind of, and that's what I got out of the video too, that it's much easier to see this when you're talking about a relationship that is more parental or
yeah,
siblings or
yeah.
but when you're talking about uh, a spouse or girlfriend or life partner,
Hmm.
it's not as natural. And if you a good example is, and the reason I say that is because the concept of monogamy is very recent, right? I mean, we have evolved as humans, or at least, you know, every religion or most religions, it was completely common to have multiple wives. It and uh, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just commenting on how we were as a society for ages. And I would think that, if this was so intrinsic in us, uh, we wouldn't have we may not have been that okay with it, in various forums. So while it makes sense on paper, I am not sure if it's a theoretical concept, or that is achievable, in the same, like, you could easily see it in other relationships.
Hmm.
But when you talk about, what your video was, I think, concentrating in, uh, while it sounds great, I don't know if it was something that anybody can say that that's how I feel.
That's great, that's fair enough. um so I do agree with you. I do agree with the fact that it's very important for one to have a great lifestyle, and I don't see any problem with anyone wanting to have it. I think it's very important and very crucial. It's only about how do you look at your partner. Like, if I look at my partner, and if I want, say, if I'm looking at my partner with a criteria that says she should have a Bentley, or say seven figures salary, to be more realistic. Okay.
Mm.
If i'm if I'm in the process of making an organic connection with someone, uh, is it possible for me to feel more about, once I come to know, oh, seven figures, now I love you more? you know you know oh, what, just 40,000? That's too less. Now, sorry, I can't love you that way. So then that's not love. That's what I'm trying to say. It's love does not come with conditions. Is it possible for you to be in a relationship? That's a question. Is it like, would it be possible for me to be in a relationship with someone with this much salary? Yes, there is love, but is it possible for me to be in a relationship? Is love enough, is the question. Love is rare. Love is an emotion that comes with an unconditional whatever. Okay. But wanting to have a certain lifestyle is more about your inner desires, and there's nothing wrong about wanting to have them. I think that is something that your love should be driven by as well. Like both the partners should help each other in growing one another's career, and just so that they can have a better lifestyle. So that's how I look at it. But do you already have the kind of lifestyle that I'm looking for? Is somewhere in a
Yeah, no, that's fair. I don't think. I mean, the way I think about it is, you know, somewhere in the process, of adulting, I guess, or growing up, you have some sort of filter criteria, right? In life in general, like be it be it a job that you take, like you could arguably say that I would want to love what I do, but I also wanted to pay at least my rent. Like I'm saying that it's possible to
that's what I'm
uh,
saying.
it, it,
it's
yeah.
it's That's the question. Is love enough? Is the question that should be asked here. Love is different. In love, there's no criteria because it's an emotion. That's what I feel. But is love enough? And which is why I think a lot of people end up living in a relationship where they're not in love, which is okay. It's not that they hate each other. It's just they gradually learn to be with one another over a period of time. I think that's what it is.
That's that. Yeah, no, I really always thought that when two people meet, it's hardly ever love at first sight, right? Or they interact, or they come across each other. So it's love is a process, right? You get to it takes a while. It takes a while for a person to grow on you and have that bond. And I always felt the criteria uh, that we have discussed is kind of something that precedes it. Like an example would be, you you are you're looking for a life partner. You're just generally speaking, that's how you grow up as a thought. And then you have certain expectations, certain, you know I don't know what to exactly call it, but yeah, some criteria, right? And but once you are there, what I'm saying is, maybe saying differently, maybe the maybe you did actually have this criteria that the person needs to make a decent amount of living, of money for me to interact, because I think that it's important for me to have that strong sort of, social and financial backing. But then what shouldn't happen is, like, if he loses his job the second, like, in a year's time or 2 years and a half's time,
Hmm.
it's gone. No, that's you know, that I think is slightly different. I think that's we talk. I think generally people are supportive in that instance. But when you're getting into something at that point, I don't think you expect to be in love. Like, when you meet a person, you don't expect to be in love at that time.
Yeah.
You are just literally just using a bunch of criteria to check things and see if it fits. But the process then makes you fall in love, and once you are there, I agree. I think it should largely be unconditional at that time, because it's very sort of, it's very inner at that point, and you are
Hmm.
just supportive at that point, and that's how I feel it should be. But to process up the process to get there has a bunch of conditions, and that's just because that's how I think we are sort of built. That's just being human. I can't see how, you know anybody trying to find, a life partner can just be like, no conditions. She can speak any language she wants to speak. She may not even talk my language, and she
No,
can
but
be from any part of the world.
language without being able to speak a language, it's not possible for one to grow an
Why
organic
not?
connection.
Why not?
How would you
What if?
communicate?
Well, it could be whatever. You figure it out. You figure it out. So you think
There's
that
no
people who
way.
can't speak. So how about people who can't speak? They don't deserve love.
Who
People who
can
can't
speak?
like,
No, of
yeah,
course
they
not.
don't deserve love.
I'm not saying that, but हाँ वो भी है. But then
ਹੱਸਦੇ ਚਿਹਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਦੇ ਕੋਈ ਤਕਲੀਫ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਉਹਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਇਹ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਤਕਲੀਫਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਡੀਲ ਕਰ
okay, प्यार की कोई भाषा नहीं होती.
I'm just obviously pushing it to the extreme, the
Yeah.
logic to the extreme, but it's you said okay, fine, you know, language needs to be one. Someone else can say okay, fine, religion needs to be one because that's just the basic. The third person could be like fine, but we should be close to each other most of the time because that's what I need. So it starts building up.
True. So the point that I'm trying to make here is the point that I try to make in my video as well is it's not and I actually mentioned it as well. It's amazing to have a partner who's great in all aspects. And the problem is when your criterias overpower the way you feel for the person. It's about overpowering. It's not about not having them or having them. It's more about completely overshadowing one thing over the other. It's more about, okay, I don't feel that way for someone, fine, but does he have this, does she have this? It's more about that. So as long as your love is stronger than everything else, you'll figure out a way to get a better
That's fair.
lifestyle. Because if someone truly loves the person in whatever capacity the person can do as best as he can or she can, they will do it if they truly love the person. But that should be coming from the drive that you love the person. It shouldn't be looked at like, okay, but do you have this, so how would you be able to do this? And if also I feel if someone says that I wouldn't be able to give her this lifestyle, but if she truly loves me, she'll be mine. I don't think that's love. I think that's just his or her obsession. Because if he's not ready to give her what she wants, the kind of life that it's not possible for me as an individual. It's not possible for me to look at someone who I really love not living the best of her life. And if I'm the person because of whom she isn't capable of doing what she wants to, it's like I'll die of guilt. It's not something that I endorse. The only point that I was trying to make is it's important for an individual to keep their love on pedestal and then just try to figure out a way to make everything work.
We need a beat.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right, great.
So yeah, it's been an amazing conversation for us, Bhaiya.
Of course. Yeah, no, this has been great. I mean, I've never done this before. So, and I hope that in the process, others find it interesting as well. But
Really hope
we are
so.
just learning, and best of luck, Obed. This is
Thank you
great,
so
and
much.
we're all proud of you, and we are all excited for you.
Thank you so much, Faraz Pia, and it means a lot to me. And you were really patient. It really, really means a lot to me.